Hi, I'm Mark from eReplacementParts.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the roller guide on an Echo trimmer. The roller guide is part of your trimmer's carburetor. It basically acts as a bearing that rides against the ramp on the throttle's rotor. As the throttle is engaged and disengaged, the roller pushes the rotor up and allows it to come back down. The most typical reason you would need to replace the roller would be that you just simply lost it while cleaning the carburetor. Replacing the roller guide is easy to do, and we're going to show you how. Roller guides, along with many other parts, can be found on our website. Let's get started. I'll begin by removing the air filter cover and the air filter. Before we remove any of the fuel lines from either the carburetor or the fuel tank, you'll want to make sure that you've drained the gas from the fuel tank. Otherwise it will leak, as the fuel in the tank tends to be slightly pressurized. I've already drained the fuel, so we can go ahead and move on. Now I'll remove the two screws that secure each piece of the intake assembly to the engine. There's the air filter base and the air filter bracket. Now I'll remove the throttle cable and the fuel lines from the carburetor. If the intake gasket hasn't already removed itself, like mine did, it's likely stuck to either the back side of the carburetor or up against the isolator. We'll begin the rebuilding process by first disassembling the carburetor. I'll start with the throttle body. With the rotor cover assembly removed, now I can remove the guide roller from the carburetor body. Here's our new guide roller, and I'll install it. Now insert the throttle body assembly back into the carburetor and secure it with the screws. Now we'll reinstall the fuel lines and the throttle cable to the carburetor. To install the fuel lines, first I need to figure out which one is the incoming line. To do that, I just open the gas tank, look inside, and find the line that has the fuel filter attached. In this case, it's the black one. The yellow one will be the return line. Now on the carburetor, I want to find the incoming side. To do that, I'll place my finger over each of the fuel line connections while priming. One of them won't let any air out, and the other will tend to suck against my finger, and that's the incoming line. So I'll attach the incoming line to the black or incoming fuel line, and the return line, in this case, to the yellow fuel line. Now I'll reinstall the throttle cable. First, I'll open up the throttle and thread the cable into the connection on the top of the carburetor. Next, I'll place the nut in its holder on the carburetor and tighten up the secondary nut with a wrench. Now I can reassemble all of the parts in the air intake assembly. I'll insert the screws through the bracket, then the brackets and screws through the air cleaner base, thread the screws through the carburetor, and last I'll install the intake gasket. Now this whole assembly will go back onto the motor. And I'll just reinstall the air filter and air filter cover.